Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, the center can no longer hold in the broad-based government because there are people within the broad-based government who are now saying they don't recognize this thing called the broad-based government because they are saying that the system has become so arrogant. You know, there is something called a system, the way things work. In a country, there is a system. In a government, there is a system. Even in your home, the head of that home always sets a system. The system could be, in that home, it is known to be so religious. A government can be so arrogant or corrupt. I don't know how you describe the system in the Kenya Kwanza administration. But many legislators are now saying that the Ruto administration is a very arrogant regime and that those who are picked from the ODM, those who are earlier criticizing the government of William Samoei Ruto, have decided to conform to the system, the arrogance, corruption, and wastage and pride. They were earlier on, before they got to the government, they were really criticizing this government. And Edwin Sifuna, who is the Secretary General of the ODM, is now saying that he is not recognizing this thing and they will not spare anybody who is not doing things the right way. They are particularly singling out certain members of the cabinet who get a lot of time to go to the campaigns. They want to be given airtime in TV and radio stations to speak about what they are doing in their ministries. But when they are invited to the Senate or to plenary committees like committees, the parliamentary committees, they always have excuses. And they are now firing a warning shot that even if those ministers are coming from the ODM, they are not going to spare. And there was fireworks in parliament today when Edwin Sifuna led that mass walkout and he rejected in the criticism that he's saying they're not going to spare anyone. Before we watch this, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you an update of what we were doing yesterday. Yesterday, we had an urgent collection of a student at JKUAT who is taking electrical engineering and is a student who was deferred. He was supposed to be in the 5th year, but now he's still stagnated in the 4th year because due to financial problems, he deferred. So this year, again, he doesn't have money. The students have already begun exams, but he's stuck in the hostels. Even in the hostels, he's afraid because he's got rent arrears that have really accumulated. And so yesterday he was really pleading with us to help him.
Hello everyone, naitwa Francis. Mimi ni mwanafunzi JKUAT in my 4th year of studies, nasomea electrical engineering. Registration number yangu ni ENE 211-0053/2018. Sababu yangu ya kutengeneza hii video ni kwa sababu naomba usaidizi. Nimekuwa nikisaidiwa na watu pamoja na kupata help mpaka my 4th year semester ya kwanza back in 2023. The only other person ningeegemea kama msaidizi wangu ni mama yangu, lakini pia yeye anafanya tu kazi ya kibarua na pia amekuwa akichunga like my 2 other little sisters. So kufikia semester ya pili mko 2023 December, nilikuwa forced kudefer because singeweza kulipa karo. Nikajikakamua, nikajifunza skill and then nilipata kazi ya kufanya online. Nikarudi tena shule semester ya pili. Na kufikia sasa kazi ilikuwa imeisha na hata ile fee ambayo nilikuwa nadaiwa the 17,000 sijaweza kuilipa. Watu wanafanya mtihani, ilianza tarehe 5 jana. Sijaweza kufanya because nilifukuzwa. Hata mali nakaa nje because nikirudi sikupata hostel. Na kwa wale ambao wanajua housing market ya Juja haikuangi bei nafuu sana kwa wanafunzi. Nimekuwa pia na arrears, hata kama niliongelesha landlord wangu, nimekuwa na arrears za miezi kadhaa nikijumlisha na hii. like ananidai around 24,000. So kindly, like mtihani inaendelea na mimi niko kwa room, siwezi fanya chochote. Mwenye tu ataguzwa, tafadhali naomba kwa unyenyekevu nisaidie tu, at least nifanye mtihani zenye zimebaki na nisikue forced ku make the same tough decision nililazimishwa huko 2023 ya ku defer my studies again. Kindly, na najua pia mimi Mungu atanibariki siku moja, I'll amount to someone and I will pay it forward. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I give you an update of what we have done so far, I want to answer a few questions. Someone sent me a message, and I don't know whether it was out of curiosity, but it was saying, what are the full names of your student who is asking for help? Because I've got two fifth-year students in electronic engineering who can't recognize him. This, of course, this is one of our subscribers and he follows the channel. It is either out of curiosity or something for purposes of accountability and transparency. I want to answer this question because he's saying there are other students that don't seem to know the person that I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go straight because we need accountability and transparency. This is a letter where, first of all, the name of the student is Edmond Francis. Now, this is a letter where Edmond had requested for that leave and it was granted. And I want to read you this letter. Of course, the letter there is Jomo Kenyatta, University of Agriculture and Technology, Office of the D there, School of Electrical, Electronic and Information, all that. This letter is dated 1st November 2023. I'm just trying to answer anybody who might have that, because when you see someone asking such a question, Kenyans really want accountability. Now, the reference there, that is the admission number. The name is Edmond Francis there, and the admission number is there, ladies and gentlemen. That is ENE 211/0053 #2018. For anyone who would want to verify and confirm that indeed this is a student of the said college, please, you can confirm with that. Now I want to go ahead and read, because this is a letter that confirms he had requested for leave. It says academic leave, and it says, your letter on the above subject refers, we are pleased to inform you that your request for academic leave during 2023-2024 academic year has been considered and granted. You will register for fourth year, second semester in the 2024-2025 academic year. In case you have any queries on the subject, please liaise with the Dean, School of Electrical and Electronic and Information Engineering. Yours sincerely, Dr. Omai Oteri, AG, Dean, School of Electrical, Electronic and Information Engineering Department. Copy to Deputy Vice Chancellor, Chief Medical Officer, Finance Officer, all that, and the logo is there. So guys, that is the letter, an official letter that Edmond was given granting him leave. So I think I've answered the question. I had to do this officially because he asked it in the channel and I felt it could cast aspersion on the credibility of what we are doing. Edmond Francis, there is the name. There is an admission letter. This letter, there is an admission number, and this letter confirms and corroborates the saddest feelings of Edmond. So I hope that settles everything. So ladies and gentlemen, as at the time I was doing this video, it was very urgent, by the way, because exams have started. Now, we spoke with Edmond, and there are papers that he has missed. He will have to apply for special papers. I think he will be given after, is it the end of the semester, after the end of the exam, something of the kind. He will have to apply. But the ones that are ongoing, I think After paying the fees, he will join. So his next scheduled paper is on Monday. I had thought that I would send the money today. When we spoke earlier, I realized that we still have a little bit more time. We needed school fees, we needed accommodation fees that had accumulated, because as at the end of this month it will be 24,000, and I think we needed to have paid the 24,000 plus maybe a month or two if we can, that is, and of course just something to get shopping. We need about 50 to 60,000 so that we can settle the matter. And if there is anyone who can come up and help sponsor even in the next semesters, because after this we'll have 2 more semesters, we'll appreciate. So as at the time I'm doing this video, we had collected 31,100 shillings. 31,100 shillings. And I really want to appreciate, because it was short notice. I just did the first 2 videos at night yesterday, and people have really sacrificed and they have responded in a big way. And I know this is a sacrifice, and I want to thank you so very much. So ladies and gentlemen, we agreed with Edmond that we continue the collection up to Sunday, because his first paper will be on Monday, so that we can see if we can get the balance and just send it fully instead of sending part of it. If he was to sit for exam today, I would have just sent part of it as part of the school fees. But now that we still have time up to Monday, I think we will have enough time. So kindly come in a big way. Anything that you have, please send, so that it can go direct to the school fees and accommodation. My number is there, FREDRICK OOKO. You can do MPESA. If you want to pay directly to the bank, ladies and gentlemen, contact me so that I can give you the process. I was told that you can do this on Equity Bank, then you pay directly. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, as you continue paying those who have sacrificed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Edwin Sifuna warning John Buddy, who is the CS Finance, and is saying that the behavior of this minister is unbecoming.
Senator Sifuna.
Speaker, let me first begin by saying this thing called broad-based, I don't know where it exists. Personally, I don't recognize any entity called called broad-based. There is a government of Kenya Kwanza under the leadership of President William Ruto. Every cabinet secretary who serves in that government serves the Kenya Kwanza government. And I want to join what Senator Khalwale has said. Some of these individuals who joined government recently think they are there to represent their ethnic communities. That every time a cabinet secretary stands up, he tells you how much the Ministry of Energy has allocated to power projects in Nyanza. So the rest of us lawyers are sitting there wondering, Allah, so who is going to speak about the projects in Bungoma? Who is going to speak about the projects? Honorable Speaker, I have said on this floor that as a Senate, as a Parliament, it is the responsibility of all of us, irrespective of our political parties, to oversight the national governments and the county governments. Honorable Speaker, if there is a problem with a CS, that CS must account to Parliament as an institution, not even to their political parties or this thing monster they are calling broad-based. It doesn't exist in my view. So, Honorable Speaker, yesterday I saw at night, just before the game between Inter Milan and Barcelona began, I saw the CS of Treasury on Citizen TV. He has time to appear before Citizen TV, but he has no time to appear before this House. I refused to watch that interview and switch to the football match because I was expecting him here. The conversations that are important to me from that CS are the ones that happen here. Speaker, we have said, when I used to be in the SBC, that the CSs must write in good time to tell the House that they will not be showing up. If a CS insists on writing on the day before, that is absolute contempt, and they must be called out. Honorable Khalwale, trust me, for as long as I remain the senator of Nairobi, for as long as I remain a senator in this House, and the oath that I took there on the first day that I came to this House, there is not going to be a minister that we are going to, protect or babysit. or cover up. It doesn't matter whether they come from ODM or from wherever. They are there to serve the public, and we will call them out, Honorable Speaker, as we have always done. So, Honorable John Mbadi, I will call him by his name, must know that as a house we are unhappy that he has time to attend rallies where he explains how much money Luos are going to get from this government, and he has time to go to Citizen TV to tell us lies about economic growth. When you read the newspapers today, data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Honorable Speaker, is saying that the economy has done the worst since COVID, that we have lost jobs, that salaries and wages have shrunk because of the taxation that has been imposed by this government. Then you go on Citizen pontificating there about the work that you are doing. Honorable Speaker, we will call out these cabinet secretaries without fear. Mimi siogopi mutu. We will say these things publicly because that is what we swore to do. Honorable Speaker, that CS, in fact, you need to confirm to this House if since he was sworn in as CS, he has ever appeared here. I have never seen him here. I have never seen him here. Where? Yeah. So, Honorable Speaker, this is an issue that we as a leadership in the Senate have to call out, and we have to insist that we have to do our oversight as senators, regardless of whatever monster people think exists in this country called broad-based. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is Edwin Sifuna. And they are saying that if you look at the way these government officials are behaving, the CSS, the cabinet secretaries, number one, they say that John Mbadi used to criticize the government. He's been a member of parliament and he understands just how weighty it is when a minister is invited to come and shed light on certain weighty issues. Now he is a minister himself, and he has changed all of a sudden. He no longer finds time to come for questioning. Now they are wondering how John Mbadi got time to be in Ruto's rally, yet he cannot find time to do this, the most special work, come and answer questions in parliament. Then they are worried about the speech, because while John Mbadi was accompanying William Ruto, he was now telling the people of Nyanza that by the mere fact that he is there, they are now getting the lion's share of allocations. And that didn't really resonate well with them, because people had said that the government of shareholding, the politics of shareholding is wrong. It is the reason why they had to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. Now the ministers are now telling their people that we are here and we want to ensure that you get the lion's share of allocations. Remember just the other day, before Ndindi Nyoro was replaced as the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, he was accused of allocating too much money for himself, getting the lion's share. Now the senators are now wondering, how come this government, ministers are now telling their people ya kwamba unajua kitambo hospitali sijui ya wapi ilikuwa napata pesa kidogo, sasa nitawapatia. And they feel this is very wrong, and that is why Edwin Sifuna is warning that this broad-based government is something that it does not recognize, because it is not working for the people. And that is why I told you that there is a system. These people have gotten into the system and they're now arrogant. They are saying, John Mbadi just wrote a letter. In fact, he was in JFKL, so he gets time to go for JFKL interviews, he gets time to go for rallies, but he cannot find time to come for questioning and to answer questions. And I think that is very wrong. It reminds me, what they are now telling the people reminds me of Musalia Mudavadi's, question to the people of Mount Kenya, that you have been given the office of the second in command, the deputy president. If you play around with it, we will take it. And you see, when we did that video, the people of Mount Kenya were asking one question. And I think it is the question that many others in Nyanza, many from Nyanza are asking. When you appoint Achando as a minister of finance, then you now hear this joke that you see, pesa inalala Nyanza. Yet we have people who hardly can afford 3 meals in a day. We have people who cannot go to school. Then you tell them that even if you go to the hospitals, you will find that there are no facilities. The allocation of money from the national government cannot reach the counties in time. then you tell people that unajua pesa inalala Nyanza. Wakati umeteua mtu kama waziri, yeye ni mtu mmoja na inasaidia yeye na watoto wake na familia yake, inasaidia aje wengine? And that is the question. When Mudavadi was telling the people of Mount Kenya, we can take that if you're not careful. In fact, most of the responses that I got, take it because it's not helping us. Let me ask you, the fact that someone has been appointed kama waziri from your area, how big is it? How special? How significant? Ikifika mahali tuseme unaenda kulala njaa, wale ambao wako karibu na mawaziri, je, unaweza mpigia waziri simu na ashike, ama uende ugonge kwa gate na useme mimi ningependa mnisaidie tu na 100 shillings net nikabuy unga? I've never been close to any waziri. If that is how it happens, tell me, because it now erodes the question of constitutionality of appointing ministers. I thought that a cabinet secretary is supposed to work for all people. And when we have a cabinet secretary who is now saying that mimi ni wenyu, that is how we fall into that trap. That is how when someone now is found guilty of corruption, he says ni nyinyi. You remember how Kimunya was saying that nyinyi ndio mnatargetiwa, sio mimi wanapigana nao. You are the people are being fought. Yet when you are found, when you are stealing alone. When we get into this trap of being hoodwinked that when someone ni waziri, he's waziri on our behalf. No. Waziri is appointed to help the Kenya Kwanza drive their agenda, the bottom-up agenda. They are not appointed on a community's behalf. These people are now doing the same thing that Rigathi Gachagua was doing. And then the arrogance. Someone was a member of parliament. He understands how important it is for a minister to come and be questioned. Highlight a few things. He doesn't come, he doesn't care. In other words, he's telling you, mtadu, hakuna kitu mtafanya. If anything, he's serving in the government where the head of the executive had told even the court that I will not respect you. A president who is full of threats and threatening people. So wameingia system. If the top is not organized, expect everything will be crumbling down. It will be trickling down to the bottom. And Edwin Sifuna and of course the other parliamentarians are saying, we are not going to spare anyone just because you are in the broad-based government. Because it is easy to be doing to start protecting those who disrespect, summons or request in invitation to attend committees and to attend plenaries, which is not good. And why do you think the waziri anaogopa? You can imagine, umeenda hapa, you are in front of Edwin Sifuna, Boni Halwale, Yokia Mutata is there. I mean, it will be fireworks. Just the other day when William Ruto was in Nyanza, Oburu Dinga confirmed to him and assured him that they are in this broad-based government to stay, they are not going anywhere. So he was seated there today when Edwin Sifuna was telling them, we don't recognize the broad-based government and things must work. We are not going to have a shambolic system and we support it just because we are in government. The last time I checked, these were technocrats. That is what Raila told us, that he gave William to technocrats. Technocrats who attend rallies and politics, but they cannot attend parliamentary, invitations. And I know they want him to talk about maybe the budget and ask questions, but he anaogopa ile fireworks, ile kitu itafanyika. So ladies and gentlemen, I think the way Sifuna and the many other individuals within the government, within the broad-based government are talking, the center will not hold, because Orengo has decided he will not be intimidated. Sifuna anasema mimi siogopi. And I believe that in the fullness of time, with the pressure coming from the people, with the ODM losing popularity, losing the ground as a result of joining this government, I'm telling you, kitaeleweka. Majority will walk out, because if you cannot fit in a system, if Edwin cannot fit in a system where they praise and worship, then he will have to go. That's what John Mbadi has done. He has decided, instead of going, we want to fit into the system. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, politicians are the same. You cannot imagine that these are the people who used to criticize William Ruto. They went to the street, Ruto must go. Now they are within this government. Cha kusikitisha ni kwamba this happened against the shootings of the Gen Zs. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen.